Hi, I'm Kevin Castaneda. In this Kev's Mindset, we talk everything finance, investing, mindset, and productivity. And in this video, we're going to be talking about why I think it makes more sense for most investors who are picking stocks to have a smaller amount of stocks and to concentrate their funds into those positions, and why I am personally doing that. This is not financial advice to my financial advisor, but this is just what I think about how many stocks you should have in your portfolio and why I think you should concentrate it into specific stocks that you have in your portfolio and not have like 30 or 20 or something along those lines. So we're going to be talking about all of that in this video. So if you do enjoy, go ahead and smash that like button. Also go ahead and subscribe if you do want to watch more of my content in the future. Now let's head straight into this video. Okay, so when it comes to stocks, a lot of people argue, no, you need 30 stocks, you need 40 stocks, you need to be diversified over every sector. Other people argue, no, you only need 2-3 stocks. And some people argue, no, you need you need an index fund. And other people argue, you don't need an index fund, you just need a few hundred. Or there's a lot of different arguments that people have when it comes to how many stocks you should have in your portfolio. And I think this is a valid concern and a valid question. If you talk to 10 of the greatest investors, you would probably get a different answer from all of them, as some investors have had great fortune in investing in lots of stocks for a long period of time, and other investors have had great fortune investing in a smaller amount of companies and then growing their portfolio, and as their portfolio increases, they increase the amount of positions they have. And my favorite investor, and arguably the best investor of all time, Warren Buffett, thinks that when you have smaller amounts of funds, that you should allocate most of your funds to stocks that you have the highest conviction in, and essentially concentrate your portfolio. Now, why does Warren Buffett think this? The reason he thinks this is because, well, first off, he did that and it worked out pretty well. And second off, because he knows, okay, if you have one great idea and you could pour all your money into that one great idea, why wouldn't you pour as much money in that one great idea instead of pouring a bunch of money into your first idea, your third idea, your 20th idea, and your 50th idea, when you could pour the most amount of money possible into your first idea? So I think that as an investor myself, I don't think that I would be comfortable investing all of my portfolio into one company. Not because I don't think that company is great, and not because I don't think that company is going to do what I believe, but just as a margin of safety, because maybe it turns out that stock wasn't so great. Maybe it turns out that I was wrong about this company. Maybe it turns out that company faced some challenges that I didn't see as the investor. So me taking on that risk of having my entire portfolio in one company is not a risk that I am personally willing to take. However, I do understand why some investors are willing to take that risk. However, I am more comfortable around the 5 to 12 stock range. I think the lower end is pretty great, as you can get great returns if you pick 5 great companies that you're comfortable in. However, I also think that the upper range is pretty solid as well, as you get a nice diversified-ish portfolio, but you also don't have too many stocks to the point where you're limiting your growth because all the stocks have to perform exceptionally. So I think it's very clear that around 10 stocks seems to be a nice sweet spot for myself, and 8 stocks would be preferable. However, I do have a 10 stock portfolio right now due to the fact that I don't want to go over 12. I don't want to go to 15. I don't want to go to 20. Why? Because I want to concentrate my funds, as I said before, into these stocks that I love. These are 10 companies that I really love, that I think are going to do incredible in the long term. So why would I allocate more of my funds to a different company and put tiny pieces of, like, let's say 5% of my portfolio in a company if I don't think that company's going to perform exceptionally well? I think that doesn't make much sense, and I think it makes a lot more sense to put your funds into companies that you truly love, and to put your funds into companies that you think have high potential for growth, and companies that you are very excited about for the future, companies that you've ran their numbers on, that you read their 10Ks, that you check up on the news, that you understand their business model, that have an economic moat. I think those are the businesses that I personally want in my portfolio, and those are the businesses that tend to flourish over long periods of time. And if you're investing for a long time, which you probably should be, is you want to have these companies that are going to do great over the long term, that are going to continue to grow, continue to innovate, continue to improvise. And I think that these are the companies that are staples to a portfolio. So it makes much more sense to kind of condense your portfolio to those key holdings that you want and those key companies that you want to have in that portfolio that you understand and that you think are going to do all those things I said previously. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. I don't think it makes much sense to get 20, 30, 40, 50 stocks in a portfolio. As one, you probably don't have enough time to go and research all of those companies. And if you do, it's going to be very concise, and it's not going to be very deep or in-depth research on these companies. And there's definitely going to be, if you have a 50 stock portfolio, you probably only understand like 5, maybe 10 of those companies as you're trying to play catch up on the other 40 companies, 40, 45 companies that you have in that portfolio. If you really understand 5 companies and you have a lot of conviction about them, it makes complete sense to allocate your funds in those 5 companies. Because if you have conviction about these stocks and you don't see anything else that's relatively equal of an opportunity as these stocks are, then why would you allocate your funds to another company that isn't going to have as much growth, that isn't going to innovate as much, and that you don't have as high of conviction or as much excitement about? So that's just kind of my 2 cents on this. I think it makes more sense to allocate your funds to the companies you really love. Thanks for watching this video. This was Kev's Mindset. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. See you in the next one. This was Kev's Mindset.